This week on UND Insider Weekly, UND's defense helps football get back in the win column. Volleyball stays unbeaten with a great start in conference play at 6-0 with wins at Sacramento State and Northern Colorado. Women's hockey started regular season action this week as they faced off against Lindenwood. And the men went against Manitoba in exhibition action at the Ralphs. Coach Barry is in the Coach's Corner today to talk about how the team looked in that exhibition game and what they're going to do to get ready for the regular season opener this weekend against Vermont. And an event that allows donors a chance to meet and interact with the student athletes that are impacted by their generosity. All this week on UND Insider Weekly. Welcome to UND Insider Weekly alongside Tom Miller, Brad Schlossman from the Grand Forks Herald, and Paul Ralston from UND Athletics. I'm Tim Hennessy. Well, volleyball has got quite the run going, gentlemen, as they defeated Sacramento State last week and then moved on on Monday night in a big 5-set win over Northern Colorado to stay unbeaten in the Big Sky at 6-0. 4-0, maybe more importantly, Tom, 4-0 on the road?
Yeah, especially that Northern Colorado Monday night on a long road trip after you went to Sac State. That's not the easiest road swing, so to pull that one out in 5 and remain unbeaten, I'm sure Coach Ashley Hardy's pretty happy about that.
Well, how that happened, they were down 2 games in the match and down 12-9, I think, in the third game, and it looked like she about lights out for them. Somehow came back. That's significant in itself, don't you think?
Well, it was that offense. They started hitting it really well. I think their percentages through games 1 and 2 were not very good on their swings, and they just started attacking with a little bit more consistency and started getting the court, getting some more points, and just finishing plays a little bit better. And once they started doing that, they got the momentum going and collected a big one, because Northern Colorado's record will be, it's not looking very good, but they're still a very quality program. In fact, they were the representative out of the Big Sky last year and are regarded as a very strong program. I think they'll turn it around. So getting that win on the road against Northern Colorado last night, huge.
Almost as important as the offense has to be mentally to be on the road and not only did they lose those first 2 games, they got beat pretty handily in those first 2 games. And against a program like Northern Colorado, to be able to come back from that and win the next 3 in a row shows you got to be pretty mentally strong.
And also, one thing that we didn't mention is that North Dakota really struggled mightily in 5-game matches a year ago. In fact, it was not something they had very much success at all. And to do that on the road in that situation at the tail end of a long road trip has got to just make Ashley Hardy just thrilled.
Well, you throw out the records and non-conference records of these teams anyway, because they play, most of them, if they're going to be competitive, play a great schedule anyway, don't they?
Absolutely. All these squads really challenge themselves. I think that's why you see like the top half of the Big Sky really have some great quality volleyball. And I think that, we were talking earlier last month that North Dakota volleyball, maybe they challenge themselves too much. And I think in the end, our Coach Hardy's been proven right with the schedule that he's put in front of his team.
Women's hockey, let's talk that for a while. They opened their regular season last weekend against Lindenwood, win 5-1 and 6-1, and I don't really think they were that close, were they, Brad?
Not really. I don't think they were ever in doubt. And it was our first chance to see some of the young players in regular game action, and not against high school kids like the first weekend. So you have to be impressed with Susanna Tapany, 6 points her first week into college hockey. I know Michelle Carvinen said for her it was a little difficult to adjust to the American style of play, and she thinks that Tapany is adjusting really well to that, and obviously the point to say so.
Tom, that's a team that is expected to get off to a fast start. They've got Minnesota Duluth this weekend, and the problem has been, I think, in the past couple of years, they've dropped some of these games early on that has really cost them in the end.
Right, you look back towards the end of the year and you start wishing you had this game back or that game back. So to start strong for this team that's already trying to figure out kind of a new identity, that'll be big to already establish that early on, which it appears they've done a little bit of that already.
One of the identity things that Tom touched on, and Brad, I know, has written about a little bit, is the amount of shots that UND women's hockey is generated from the point.
Yeah.
Basically, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to pick up loose pucks in front of the net now, moving forward, and I think it was an unbelievable number of point shots here through this past weekend, correct, Brad?
Yeah, I think it was the defensemen had 52 shots on goal over the weekend, and they have a couple of freshmen D who really like to get involved in the offense, and Hallie Kajaniak and Grayson Hershey. Both of those two will be If you count Monique Lamoureux as a forward, I think that those two will probably be the two best offensive defensemen UND's ever had by the time they're done.
How big a challenge this weekend, Minnesota Duluth?
It's tough to know exactly what they have, but Duluth is a team that should be in the top half of the league this year. I think that they have a lot of their players back this year, so we'll find out a lot about UND this weekend.
Let's talk some football, and UND gets on the winning side of the ledger in the Big Sky. They're 1-1 in the Big Sky, despite what has happened around here. But I think maybe more importantly, they got Greg Harden going last weekend, and Idaho State didn't want to kick to him. They did. Tom, big mistake there, huh?
Yeah, you could tell your kicker all week not to kick to him, but apparently you can't. You can't follow through on that game plan. So Greg Harden was involved. They got him involved, like you said, in a number of different ways. I think he had about 8 catches, 120 some yards. Got him over the middle. They got Kenny Galladay involved too in a number of different ways. So they're going to need that offense though to pick it up a little bit. Defensively, they got a touchdown and they got a kick return for a touchdown. So half your points are coming from outside your offense. So they're going to need that offense big time against Eastern Washington this week.
You mentioned Kenny Galladay making probably the biggest play of the game on that catch there for a big third down conversion late in the game. And I was there and witnessed it, Tim, and one of the things you just look at that second half, the defense was on the field for I think almost 23 minutes of 30 minutes of football in the second half. They were a gassed bunch. A couple of them admitted after the game, but they said they didn't let on during the course of play, and they just kept playing through it and made a huge, big defensive play for a score late that really kind of gave them the momentum to kind of push over the top and get a road win, which I think is just crucial for this team moving forward, getting some confidence.
Any surprise leaving Joe Mulberg in as a starting quarterback? Frankly, he had an average performance at best, I would guess, but I think he's going to be the guy.
Right. No, I think coming into that week, they said they were going to give somebody the full go of it, and I think Joe has proven that maybe he moves a little better in the pocket and avoids some of the pass rush, keeps plays alive. He's got to stay away from making that key poor decision on drives, especially on 1st and 10. I think a couple of his bad throws came early in the sequence like that, and sometimes he's just got to learn to eat it or throw it away.
All right, let's talk a little hockey, men's hockey. They had their exhibition game. They got on the ice against Manitoba on Sunday night, and per usual, they beat them. But it was a 3-0 count in that one. First, just your take on it, Brad. How'd you think the squad looked?
Well, I went back and looked through some old results against Manitoba, and 3 goals is the fewest they've scored against them recently, but they've never shut them out either. So maybe a more defensive game than we're used to against the Bisons. I think some of the young players look pretty good. Luke Johnson, obviously, the one guy that really stood out to me. He's one of the younger guys. He was a true freshman this year, but he's obviously ready for the college game. What
impressed me was that nobody looked like a fish out of water. And frankly, there's been times when some of the young guys have come in here and they look like, wow, he's not quite ready yet.
Yeah.
I don't think you could say that about any of them, could you?
No, I can't think of anyone, and they're going to need that too, because they're not going to have 2 Hobie Baker finalists set forward like they did last year. I think we can.
That's a brash prediction by you, Brad.
I think we can all agree that, but so they're going to need more scoring from their depth and more contributions from around the lineup, and when all the freshmen are looking pretty solid, that's a good sign.
I don't think that he came with as much fanfare, although he was the BC Junior Defenseman of the Year. Troy Stetcher, I think he reminds me, and some people out there watching may remember Curtis Murphy, but looked an awful lot like him, not just physically, but I think just in the way he plays. He was not afraid to play the game, which is important for young defensemen too, don't you think?
Yeah, I think we heard a little bit about the offense that he brings, and we see a little bit of the edge he plays with. I heard one player say it's sort of like a Joe Gleason in that sense, where he's smaller but not afraid to mix it up and get his nose in there.
Was it a good start then, do you think?
I think so. No one got hurt. The team came out with a win. A lot of the young guys, they had every freshman in the lineup outside of Matt Harinkyu, I believe. So a lot of the young guys got game action. So that's always a big positive.
All right, still to come, Coach Brad Berry is pacing the hallway here, waiting to join the panel and talk about the upcoming start of the hockey season, the regular season in Vermont coming up this week.
I got my first hunting dog when I was 17. My passion for pheasant hunting has taken off ever since. One thing I really enjoy about pheasant hunting is it's an active sport. if you're serious about pheasant hunting, you're going to be out there working for the birds. The gear that's available today is going to make your hunt just that much more enjoyable. Watching my own dog work, being out there with my friends, congratulating a buddy on a good shot, those are all things that I really like about upland hunting. I'm Judd Geese, and I'm an upland hunting expert at Shields.
North Dakota football single game tickets are on sale now.
It's homecoming week in Grand Forks, and North Dakota football is back in action against top 10 Eastern Washington. Kickoff is set for 2:30 p.m. Get your tickets today.
Right now at Burger King, choose any 2 sandwiches for just $5. Whether you're craving a Whopper sandwich and an original chicken sandwich, an original chicken sandwich and a premium Alaskan fish sandwich, or a Whopper and another Whopper. Come in today and get any 2 for just $5. Only at Burger King, where taste is king. Right now at Burger King, choose any 2 sandwiches for just $5. Whether you're craving a Whopper sandwich and an original chicken sandwich, an original chicken sandwich and a premium Alaskan fish sandwich, or a Whopper and another Whopper. Come in today and get any 2 for just $5. Only at Burger King, where taste is king.
UND basketball season is almost here, featuring great matchups at the Betty. Purchase a big game plan and secure your seats on the most anticipated games. Get 4 big games for North Dakota men's basketball, including the NDSU game, for only $40. North Dakota women's basketball big game plan, including the game with NDSU, only $30 for 4 great matchups. Lock in your tickets today and get your big game plans online at undsports.com or purchase in person at the Ralph Engelstedt Arena.
UND Insider Weekly is sponsored by Shields, Gear, Passion, Sports, by Burger King, where taste is king, and by the Ground Round.
On Sunday, the men's hockey team hit the ice against the University of Manitoba in an exhibition game at Ralph Engelstedt Arena. They'll open up the regular season against Vermont. We welcome to the panel Assistant Coach Brad Berry. Brad, good to see you.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks for coming on the program.
Anytime.
At short notice.
At short notice, anytime.
It's been at least a week, hasn't it?
Yep.
Congratulations on the win on Sunday. We were talking before about the way your defensemen played. All the young ones, all of them, they all look the same. That's a good thing, though, right?
Yeah, you know, obviously having 4 young guys in the lineup, we dressed 8 defensemen. The positive thing out of it, that there wasn't any glaring big mistakes, I should say. A lot of things to clean up on, as a lot of things, but a lot of work to do, but it was pretty positive throughout the game.
I thought the most impressive thing, and talking with Brad about it, is nobody was afraid to play.
No, that's
Sometimes
right.
Sometimes that happens, particularly at that position.
No, and you know what? Like, just looking at the 4 defensemen that we have that haven't played a D1 game yet, you look at the 2 guys in Troy Stetcher and Paul Ledoux playing 3 years of junior. You know, that's a lot of experience there under their belt right away at a high level. And then you look at the other 2 guys in Gage Osmus and Thompson, Keaton Thompson, playing at a high level at the program, even though they're young. They played at a high level through a USHL schedule. So there's a lot of experience, and you know, they held their own.
So this weekend, you guys probably aren't going to be dressing 8 defensemen. It's got to be a tough decision for you guys as to who's going in the lineup.
Not unless we can convince Coach Haxall to do that, but I don't think that'll happen. But no, there's some tough decisions, and you know, when you say that, Andrew Panzarella played pretty well too. I thought, you know, he just a good stay-at-home physical defenseman, moved the puck pretty well, and yeah, there's a lot of decisions to be made. But yeah, there's 6 half to play out of the 8.
It looks like a little bit different setup on the power play this year with Grimaldi in the middle there. Or?
Yeah, you know what? We're kind of tinkering around a little bit. You know, the one thing we talked about the other day is, you know, when you lose Corbin Knight, when you lose Danny Cristo, that were a big part of your power play, and you know, those guys were game breakers that, you know, they could, I wouldn't say ad lib, but they could make a play out of nothing sometimes and score a goal. That, you know, you're starting from scratch and you're trying to put guys in spots with success. Mm-hmm. And I think it's, you know, with limited time on doing different things system-wise early on, we got to work on a lot. Power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5. I mean, we got to put a lot of work into it. And this week we're spending all 3 days on all 3 areas. I thought it was okay though, because that Manitoba did some different things. They made some adjustments. Yeah. I thought you guys adjusted to what they were doing pretty well. Well, the first thing in the first period, I thought we had some clean entries, and then they started cheating up on our flank guys coming down the dot lanes, and they, you know, that through power of video, we can show that we can kick it out to the far lane guy right away to offset that guy pinching up in the neutral zone. And then in zone 2, we're trying to get our middleman for support, because in college hockey, you see a lot of high pressure penalty kills where you need support right away. And to having that middleman, we got to get him used to being closer around the puck rather than being further away. So again, like when you got Rocco, Grimaldi, Johnson in the middle, very cerebral, very smart players, guys that can get the puck off to the net. Just got to work with them a little bit. I thought Luke Johnson did a pretty good job, especially in the power play, getting the puck and spinning his body, getting the puck to the net early. So again, it's going to be a work in progress, and try to play up to the strengths of our players.
What types of players does it take to play that type of role that Grimaldi and Johnson are?
Well, it's got to be a very offensive-minded player as far as structurally good support, a guy that can have quick hands getting pucks to the net. Like I remember in Columbus, we had Jeff Carter and Antoine Vermette as our middleman. Mm-hmm. Our power play was going about 24%. We traded them at the trade deadline, both guys at the same time, and the power play went downhill right after. So again, I think the key guys is your middle top guy on defense, your flank guy that's holding the puck on the half wall, and then your middleman. As far as the guy that can make plays and be an outlet guy. So those 3 guys are probably the most important on that formation.
Coach, appreciate your time, and best of luck this weekend against Vermont.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Coach Brad Berry joining us on the program. Coming up, scholarships are crucial for many student athletes. Earlier in the month, those student athletes impacted by those scholarships got a chance to meet those who donated.
Right now at Burger King, choose any 2 sandwiches for just $5. Whether you're craving a Whopper sandwich and an original chicken sandwich, an original chicken sandwich and a premium Alaskan fish sandwich, or a Whopper and another Whopper. Come in today and get any 2 for just $5. Only at Burger King, where taste is king.
I started hunting with my brothers and my dad. Hunting for me is getting away from everything, just getting out into the country, to the quiet. I enjoy hunting with my son more than anything. Someday he'll have memories like I have of hunting with my dad. There's just no better feeling when a customer says, you know, that gun you sold me last year worked perfect. That is, to me, what it's all about. I'm Leon Streifel, and I'm one of the hunting experts at Shields.
Right now at Burger King, choose any 2 sandwiches for just $5. Whether you're craving a Whopper sandwich and an original chicken sandwich, an original chicken sandwich and a premium Alaskan fish sandwich, or a Whopper and another Whopper. Come in today and get any 2 for just $5. Only at Burger King, where taste is king.
The 3rd season of Through These Doors returns this Thursday. Get a look at the players' off-season, plus meet this year's captains. The season premieres Thursday at 9 p.m. on UNDsports.com and Friday at 6:30 p.m. on Midco Sports Network. Well, UND has more than 400 student athletes, a good chunk of whom get scholarships. The scholarships, though, are donated by those who are committed just as much to UND as the student athletes who play here. Recently, both the donors and athletes got a chance to meet and thank each other.
I just thought that scholarship fell out of the sky someplace, came, and I received it, not realizing at the time that all the people that supported UND athletics came to the events. And as we were going through this, we all thought that maybe this might be a great opportunity to teach our student athletes that the opportunity they have here doesn't just fall out of the sky, that there are people that help them have this opportunity, whether it's alumni, former athletes, businesses, corporations in the area that give them this opportunity.
This event's really special. I think it's really important that we get to meet our donors who give us the scholarships for us to be able to not only play our sport, but to get our education and to do something that we love so much. And I know for me, I wouldn't be able to do both without the scholarship, and it just really means so much to us to get that one-on-one interaction and really know where the scholarship is coming from. So I just would like to thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to live out my dream. Since I was 9 years old, it was my dream to go to a Division I school, play volleyball on a full-ride scholarship, and from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to thank all of you, because without you, I would not be able to do that. For the amount of passion I have for volleyball, I have the same amount for my education, and without all of you, I would not be able to do both. and I would not be able to live out my dream. And I can say that for me, and I'm sure I can say that for every athlete in this room as well. So for me and from them, thank you for helping us live out our dream. It means more to us than you know.
We both went to the university here, and we're really proud of how the coaches, the players, the administration, we just really feel proud of them, how professional they handle things, and we just love being a part of it. And we really feel the appreciation, especially at nights like this. And getting to know our student athlete is wonderful, and we get to know more about what goes on with them in their lives. And it's just a very big part of our lives, and our whole family's part of it. And we just kind of like to give back also to the athletes that give us the enjoyment of being part of the whole thing.
We had over 7,700 hours of community service last year by our student athletes, and that's really critical. That's very important. And in comparison, the next closest team in our conference, I think, had 700 hours.
It's a great opportunity to see all the student athletes, and I feel so proud to be part of this organization and part of UND, and an opportunity to give back. We have such wonderful athletes here, and you can really tell when they're here. We should be very, very proud of these students.
And given the opportunity to be a student athlete, do more than what is expected, is giving us not only the opportunity to be great, but to have successful futures. And these futures are, I guess, invaluable to us, because we're going to take everything that we've learned here and apply it to not only the field or court or rink, or I guess competition, I'll go with that one, and not only the classroom, but also into the rest of our lives and the people that we will be with for the rest of our lives. And that's the type of character that we are going to take with us for our whole lives. And I guess I just want to express conviction, gratitude, and say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Go UND. Cool.
It's homecoming weekend, and the panel has its work cut out for them with a full slate of games this weekend. Let's talk about how things will all shake down next on UND Insider Weekly.
UND Insider Weekly is sponsored by Shields, Gear, Passion, Sports, by Burger King, where taste is king, and by The Ground Round.
North Dakota football single game tickets are on sale now.
It's homecoming week in Grand Forks, and North Dakota football is back in action against top 10 Eastern Washington. Kickoff is set for 2:30 p.m. Get your tickets today.
Welcome back to UND Insider Weekly. Homecoming weekend starts off with volleyball against Eastern Washington and Portland State. Eastern Washington first, and Portland State, just as I said it, I guess. How do you think the volleyball gals who are unbeaten in the Big Sky are going to fare, Paul?
Eastern Washington's a mid-table team right now. I think North Dakota handles them on Thursday night, and I think they'll do it in either 3 or 4 games. That Portland State match on Saturday before football, I think at 12 noon here at the Betty, is going to be huge. Portland State is, I think, a game behind right now in Big Sky play. It's going to be a great challenge. I see that one maybe going 5, but North Dakota pulling it out. I think it's going to be a great match on Saturday afternoon.
Brad?
I also like them to win both games, and they've been on a roll on the road, and under Ashley Hardy, they've performed very well at home. So I see them getting 2 more big wins, going to 8-0.
Yeah, I'll jump on the bandwagon too.
Yeah.
I'll say sweep Eastern Washington and Portland State.
I will too, just to stay on the good side of Ashley Hardy. Women's hockey team goes against Minnesota Duluth. WCHA action this weekend at the Ralph. Brad, first of all, what do you think?
I think this is going to be a good measuring stick for the team. I don't see them sweeping the Bulldogs right away. I'm going to go with a split. UND gets 1, Duluth gets 1.
I just want to be different than Brad, so I'm going to go with a sweep over Duluth.
I'm going to say 1-1 as well.
I'm going sweep. I think I've been impressed from what I've seen from this UND women's hockey team to this point in the season, both from their young defensemen and from some of those new forwards. They've been impressive lines 1 through 4 so far. I like them both Saturday and Sunday. 2 sweeps, 2 splits so far. All right, the men's hockey team plays Vermont out of Hockey East. Their poll had them on the bottom, I think, of a tough league for sure. But Tom, what do you think? How's the men going to do?
I'm going to say they're going to split with Vermont. I think they're a young team, still learning different systems, and I think they split.
Paul?
Win in a tie.
You can't have a tie. You get a shootout.
That's what I was going. Well, not in the non-conference play though.
I'm going to go win in a tie. I think that there will be some times where it doesn't all click. It's early. Guys are still learning, just kind of finding their rhythm, and I think one night it will click for them, and one night it won't be as easy. And the Catamounts, I just like to say Catamounts, so I'm going to allow them to earn a tie.
A lot of familiar names on that Catamount team with Bruneto, and I'm going to say that 3 points for UND as well. I think they get a win and a tie.
I think the Patton brothers should square off at center ice before it all starts and get that battle going. I just think UND has good goaltending. I think Vermont's a young team, and at home I like North Dakota to win both games against Vermont this weekend. Then there's football, of course, with Eastern Washington, the homecoming game on Saturday afternoon. This is a team that throttled them pretty good last year. They've got a nice-looking offense. Tom, what do you think?
Well, it's a team that beat Oregon State earlier this year, and UND is definitely going to have their hands full, so I got to go with Eastern Washington.
Paul?
Pass? No.
Yeah, they'll be passing.
Vernon Adams
Adams will pass. As much as I bleed the green, I think Eastern Washington just has too much at this point in time in their program. It's going to be the Eagles on that day, but I think North Dakota can push them if they play a little bit cleaner, less turnovers and less penalties.
Give me a score, Brad.
I'm going to say 49-17 Eastern Washington. I think UND gets a couple of big plays for scores, but Vernon Adams throws for whatever he wants to throw for.
Well, let's hope they're a little disoriented with green grass as opposed to that red stuff.
That might throw them off. Black end zones.
I'm still going to take Eastern Washington in this one. I'm going to go about 35-17, somewhere in that area. All right, thanks, guys. Tom, Brad, Paul, as well. We invite you to join us for a new episode of UND Insider Weekly next Wednesday as we turn pink with North Dakota Strong. You can catch the episode at 8 p.m. on UNDsports.com and again on Friday at 5:30 on Midco Sports Network.